Hi everyone! Today we are going to be making a hacking-themed loading screen UI. This tutorial is made for beginner to intermediate front-end developers with some experience with JavaScript frameworks like React and experience with Tailwind CSS and HTML. As long as you understand HTML tags, JavaScript functions, and how CSS interacts with HTML elements, you'll be fine. The tools you need before starting up this tool are Node.js and a code editor like Visual Studio Code. Okay, so step 1, setting up your project. First off, open up your Visual Studio Code and go to the Open tab under Start. Then open a folder and name a new folder to hold your project. Now, today we're going to be using the JavaScript framework Next.js. So in the terminal, type out npx-create-next-app at latest. When you're configuring the project, keep these things in mind. The name of your project must be in all lowercase. Make sure you say no TypeScript. ESLint doesn't matter. Turn on Tailwind CSS. Turn off the source directory. Use App Router and turn off custom import alias. A common mistake is to do npm install directly after installing Next.js. This is going to cause an error because you're not in the same directory that is the project you created. So to fix this common error, simply cd into the name of your project. Then, after installing the dependencies, type npm run dev to start the server and type localhost-3000 so you can go and see all your changes live. You will see a Next.js page and be confused. To remove this, start the project. Go to the page.js file in the source folder and delete everything between the main tags. All the code there is boilerplate and not very useful. Step 2, adding a logo image in the center of your website. A mistake that people make is that they don't use transparent backgrounds. If the image itself doesn't have a checkered background, the image won't be able to fit with any of the background you set. Now, once you import the image in your public folder, set the background to black and the main tag's Tailwind CSS by doing bg-black. A common error is putting it in the source folder. That's going to lead to a lot more path errors. Also, ensure that the path of your file matches. A common mistake is to mistype the path and get unrelated errors that will throw you in a loop. Now, add an image tag and just add a basic slash to show it's in public and the name of your logo, along with the file extension at the end. Add an alt tag just in case your image doesn't load, and then the height and width attribute to resize your image. Now we add a div tag and center the items using flex items-center, justify-center relative, and voila, you have your logo centered in the middle of your web page. Step 3, creating the outline for the loading bar. Back here, we're going to create a new JS file called loadingbar.js in the same directory as the image. We're going to import React and create a function for the loading bar, and finally export the loading bar component. Then we go back to our original page.js file and put the loading bar component under the div to display it. Now we're going to go back to our loadingbar.js file and create constants to define the border color and thickness of our loading bar. The reason we add constants are for reusability purposes within our code, so we can change values and just keep everything consistent. For the inner div, we are going to center our item and make the background transparent. Then we're going to add border thickness variable to define our border width and border color variable to define our border color. The reason we're going to have an outer div is basically to have a shell where the loading bar will be placed and define the width of the bar. We use this by making the outer div relative to the page and ensuring the child div is in line, aka inside the parent div. Step 4, adding the bar inside the loading outline. Now we're going to add bar.svg or whatever rectangular image you want to use for the loading component. And all we're going to do is create an image tag for it. As you saw, I had an error because I forgot to import the image, so make sure you import any SVGs you use to avoid this common mistake. Step 5, creating the loading animation. So essentially we have one bar SVG that's sitting in the middle of the loading bar. What we need is for the bar to be aligned left and for many bars to appear consecutively, one after another. In order to get the bars to load across from the left to the right of the screen, we're going to need some JavaScript. So for now, let's import the useEffect and useState functions. useEffect allows us to execute the bar loading animation as soon as a user enters the website, while useState allows us to set the bars visible by updating the status of each bar, which gives the effect of an animation. We create a constant total of bars, which sets the total number of bars to 26. Now in useEffect, it's going to check if there are below 26 visible bars. If there aren't, we're going to use a timeout, which is essentially like creating a pause between each bar that gets revealed, and then display another bar to the right of the previous one. Both useState and useEffect are effects that happen on your device, aka client-side effects. So in order for them to work, we need to write useClient at the top of the JavaScript file to prevent any further errors. To actually display this, we are first going to set a constant defining image width as 16 and then wrap our image tag into an array map. We set the length of the array map as the length of bars visible, 26, then we increment from 0 to IDX. Now I'm going to add some styling. This code here makes the bar positions and transform, translate, and top dash 1/2 are there to make the bars fit within the loading bar. 9 is how left everything is, and 4 is the spacing between each bar. Step 6, applying the glitch effect. Last but not least, we have to have a glitch effect on our logo. To work smarter, we can use a library with an existing glitch effect from React. First, we need to type the command npm install react-powerglitch in the terminal. Then we import useGlitch from the react-powerglitch library. Afterward, we create two constants, one for glitching the logo and the other for glitching the loading bar. We store these functions in those constants. Lastly, we go to the divs that hold the logo in the loading bar, and we set their references to the constants.ref. This adds the glitch effect to the container, which is how we glitch the loading bar and the logo. And voila! We've successfully created a glitching loading bar UI that all of you can incorporate in your projects to make them look 10 times cooler.